So there's a new scam currently going on, and I'm going to explain it to you. And this is what the current hacks are these days. This is what the current malware and hacks are. I mean, can you remember that word that they used to throw on? Malware, malice, and all this privacy and protection. Every single thing that they said to protect yourself against now, they are putting it into their rules. So it's part of how they work. It's just what they do, right? They'll protect yourself from strangers and information. And now their business is getting you information and they're strangers, right? Now, there was an ink scam going on. Where they weren't putting much ink at all in the ink, and then something happened and it started coming full. When you get the inks now, they're starting to turn out full. But I think this is the apps, and the evidence that I've got for this is that all the apps generally are nasty. I mean, they treat you nasty. They're obstructing and blocking, even sites like Fiverr and all of the main platforms. They're all doing annoying things or covering things up or just making it frustrating or difficult to use, hindering you, obstructing you, and trying to get you to do what they want you to do in the hope that you comply with them, or they make your life difficult. It's not user-friendly anymore, that's for sure. The term user-friendliness is, if you're compliant and obey, submit, consent, accept, and get the things they want you to get. The Google ads in YouTube now is actually hostile, harmful, and I think it's to get people to. They want you to pay to go ad free. That's the thing, you know. If you're paying to go ad free, then you won't see this nastiness. You won't get the hassle, but then you won't see. Even though they're still collecting data on you and getting information, it won't be reflected and mirrored and bounced back to annoy you. You know, you can make the problem go away, but the problem won't go away. But what I'm going to tell you what's happening now is, we got this printer, and there's a program there at the bottom with green. There's like a green square default printer. It's like a generic app. Now, that was working and printing fine, right? And now when you use it, there's this odd delay, and it just sits there doing nothing. It prints one page, and then it just sits there. There's no reason why it should do that. There's not a lot of data to load or anything. And it's really, really frustrating, and it makes you want to... Well, I have to turn the printer off and turn it back on again. And then the other main apps are the Canon ones, right? But I've got two Canon ones. There's a Canon print service and then Print, which they're both Canon. You can print off either of them, but they're both similar. Now, one of them does that slow down thing as well. But the settings, I did not set it to black and white, I'm certain. And also, there's this like fit in the frame. One of them doesn't fit it in the frame. But whatever settings you put it on, it always seems to be wrong. Whatever, there is no default setting, and then I don't think it's me, right? I'm not that stupid. The apps are kind of playing games, and what ends up happening is you end up printing it out wrong. Either, it comes out black and white when you wanted it in colour, or it's not fitted to the frame when you wanted it. And it's not consistent. When you use the app, right, when you use an app and you turn it on and you start it off, it should either be a default setting or what you left it at. And I know I definitely didn't leave out something else. And then if it prints halfway through a sheet and stops halfway through and makes you wait for 10 minutes before then it carries on again, you're going to get frustrated and pissed off, right? No one has got that patience. It's almost like Scientology patience test, right? You're going to press cancel and you've ruined a sheet of paper, so you throw it away. You know what I think this is, right? You know, if you've got a massive pack of paper, right, you could probably spare a few sheets of paper. But if it does it every time, for every one sheet you use, you scrunch one up and throw it away. That's half a pack. And if you print out and it prints out it wrong and you think it's your fault, then you're going to do it again, right? Now, it's a lot worse wasting ink than paper, because ink, when you're printing out full pages or in colour, it goes through ink quite a lot with home printers, so you don't want to lose the ink, really, because the ink is expensive and valuable. Now, this is what I think. I think that the developers, Canon, and other staff from other printer companies, I think that these geeks, these specky computer geekoids, these Spider-Man villains, these Marvel character villain people in real life, right? You know, I think that they want to sell more ink and paper, and I think that they're dicking with the apps. They're fucking around with them. It's malware, malice, and it's like little imps in the fucking computer. And I think that they're doing it. They're dicking with your settings, and I think that. I mean, no, I don't think there'll be any complaints about it, because I don't think that people. I think people think that it's their own fault. I think they're like, oh, you know, I didn't put the settings right, or I got them wrong, or you know, I can't wait for this one. It's stuck halfway. It's malware. And what it's doing is it's not only frustrating and winding you up, it's making you waste all your materials, you know, and you're using twice as much, you know, than what you should do. And I know that they really couldn't give a tiddlywinks, you know, flying fuck, because, you know, in the apps, they're doing it, you know, where's the button to get rid of the thing that covers the screen up in the top right corner, then they move it to the other side. The next time it does it, then you've got to listen to the stupid video, then you've got to do this, then you've got to do that. Comply, submit, consent, accept, wait. It literally is being treated like shit. It's worse than being a shoe polisher or a valet, you know. It's worse than being Trump's golf caddy. It really is. I don't know what happened to this culture, these people coming out of university and getting jobs at Google and then going on to run their own search engine companies and this and that, but they really are very nasty people, and they're bringing, what it does, they're actually, it's so infuriating that it actually turns you into a cunt. I'm actually, you know, if you could actually film me, right, honestly, for like an assessment or a treatment assessment, how I'm being treated, my condition, emotional and psychological condition from how I'm being treated by Google Ads effects, whatever tests Google claim they're doing on people and running, I think if they've got the microphone on, they're not telling the truth. Because I think people are, you know, shaking the cage, rattling the doors, kicking the you know, throwing the phone on the floor. And I think it's criminal. I think it's harassment. And I think that it is malicious. Neil Mo, if I had, let alone, you know, the money that Mr. Beast's on, if I had, you know, £1 million, I think that I could get Neil Mohan in prison from what his ads are doing to people, the effects on them for their user experience. Even if so, what if you don't pay to go ad free? You don't. No one deserves to be treated like that. It literally is kind of like if you're walking through a building, every doorway you go through, someone slams a door in your face, or you know, stands in front of you and won't move out of the way. It's getting to that level, and then all the, you know, going around the clipboard, writing down everything you're doing. It would have amounted to criminal behaviour, you know, in the 1950s, and I think that no one's trying to prove the case. You know, I would, you know, if I had the money, and if I had access, you know, to psychologists and people who can, you know, help. You know, I'd say to Robert F. Kennedy Jr., I'll tag him in this, I think I could put Neil Mohan and Mark Zuckerberg in prison for the effects of their platforms on us, and mainly for profit. It's ads. There used to be this thing where they wanted to give you a user-friendly experience, and all the bad guys were these unknown people, you know, these virus people who make viruses. So you have to buy the antivirus to protect yourself, or, you know, Microsoft Defender or whatever. But now every single thing that they said to protect yourself against is something that they've adopted and they're using, and they're even making it so that you have to accept it now. Strangers knowing your information, annoying things popping up which are malicious, all these things. I think some of these Mandarks, and that's Dexter's Laboratory character, by the way, I didn't create it. These Mandarks, these geeks, that it's purely intellectual. They're living in an intellectual world and an intellectual plane where they're just number crunching. They want to get the figures to match. They want to get these profits, these figures, this and that. It's like Rishi Sunak. He thinks that controlling the temperature of your coffee is a good idea. If you can have like an app that controls the exact temperature of your coffee to the exact temperature that you want it at, that's a good thing. What really they want to do is control your emotions, control your reactions, control your temper. What the SNP, the Scottish National Party, this Mr. Shiraz guy in Scotland, right? What they want to do with all these new laws in Scotland is make it so if you get furious or angry or react a certain way, it's crime, right? But they're the ones causing it. They're the ones causing the frustration, the pain, the anxiety. Because they want you to do what they want. Submit, consent, accept, do it this way, have this, have that, do it this way, do it our way, do it that way, right? And also making you stupid. Like, oh, you're dumb. You didn't notice this with this or this with that. But it's not that they're messing with it. And it's programmed to do that on the keyboard as well with the typing now. Do you know why they programmed the keypad to be malicious? Because they want you to accept, submit and consent to voice command and recognition so they can record your voice, get all the sounds. Well, they do that anyway, and they want to persuade you or force you onto that because, it's quicker than typing, or just to wean typing out. But that, again, that's getting you to do what they want you to do, right? Now, the thing is, right, that what happens when someone pushes you around, or when someone, closes the door in your face, or someone is just acting mischievously or annoying? You get angry. It's a natural survival response. If someone is an annoying git, right, you get frustrated, furious even, right? It's perfectly normal. I mean, if I would challenge any MP in this whole country, right? Well, we haven't got any MPs because they're all sacked, that they've been dissolved. But when we get MPs or members of the House of Lords then, right, look at what Lord Walney, he doesn't like, all these protest groups, Just Stop Oil or Extinction Rebellion, they annoy him. I bet any member of the House of Lords, right, if you do an experiment, a control blind experiment, and get someone to go around annoying the fuck out of them, right, all of them have got a flip point, a stress point, a Scientology stress test point, a fuse, and they will, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. probably has, he can't be peaceful and, kind all the time. Everyone's got a stress point level. Now, the way they're going with this, right, is this is what they're trying to do. They're slowly trying to make every little thing illegal that they think that is not acceptable or how you shouldn't react, right? And if you do, they're going to be monitoring you, right? Now, the thing is, their goal, this is Larry Fink as well, behaviours, we've got to control behaviours, we've got to control behaviours, Larry Fink, control behaviours, Larry Fink, right? What Larry Fink's goal is, and Mark's, and probably Elon's as well, right? Or I claim not, but it is. And Gates, right? They want to be able for you to have to comply with them due to policy and accept all their suggestions, updates, changes, and whatsoever. And if you make any mistakes, it's always your fault. Always, never theirs, right? And by the way, policy is, but yet they can, get rid of you for any reason or no reason or whatever, or reject you for any reason or no reason, right? They want to be able to pretty much do anything. And they don't want you to, well, everyone's going to get angry, right? But they want to try and make it so it's illegal, or you'll get punished if you get furious or angry, or if you, I think that Neil Mohan's adverts are actually now causing psychological damage and emotional damages. And they've got these really annoying voices like, yee wahey, all the time on stuff. And when you phone the doctors up, they've got these really non-human, annoying voices when, people like speaking to a warm human voice, like, when you ring the post office up or something. And I don't know where they're going with it exactly, but they're trying to get you, firstly, they're trying to do it as annoying and unnatural as possible, and it's not pleasant, and in the hope that you'll get used to it and it won't annoy you anymore. Now, if someone beats you around the head with a baseball bat, right, you don't like it. It might be a ridiculous thing to say that, get used to it or whatever. You're unlikely to get used to getting hit around the head with a baseball bat because it'll probably cause you permanent damage or death, or something like a boxer, with a speech impediment, right? But, not actually hitting your head with a baseball bat, but whatever they can get away with doing until you're just a bitch boy, almost like having a master who, slaps you. It's like in Back to the Future, when Biff, in the car park, and Biff's been pushing him around, but then finally he punches him. But they don't want you to do that. They don't want you to be the George McFly who stands up to them. They've actually beat you into submission. So if you were to do what George McFly did, stand up to Biff, then you get arrested. Well, they've done that with the law. That's what the law's there for. You're not allowed to. That's what the law in the streets are. But none of this applied to them. Because firstly, there is no them, because there's no one there. You don't know the name. You can't speak to a person. There's no one to speak to on the phone. There isn't a person there, and you're just a statistic, a number, a 10.14763335, right, with a channel as much as everyone else, right? There's no value unless you're the chosen ones for, Mr. Beast or whatever it is, Mark, Neil Mohan's studio, entourage, in the clapping audience or whatever, chosen for the flagship. You're just a number to them, right? You're a profit margin. You're a number, right? And they want to be able to literally do what they want with the apps, basically. They want to slap you around that much, metaphorically, with the apps, that there's nothing left of you. You're just literally like, yes sir, no sir, 3 bags full sir, consent sir, accept, Zick Heil, right? And any resistance will be met by penalties, punishments, crimes. That's what ultimately they want it at. And this is complete and total domination of the soul of the human. Some of these henchmen of Klaus Schwab, World Economic Forum, they're saying, what is a soul? There's nothing there. What is the soul of a human? What is the spirit? It's nothing. Like that, even though they've built, entire religions of these things, it's all binary. It doesn't have a meaning. There is no essence to humanity. There is no spirit. There is only, numbers, profits, reactions. Every single thing in your body is just a chemical signal to them. There is no totality of the experience. Like Dawkins, there is no God or whatever. So that's where they're going with it. Now, you might think that maybe I'm wrong. Well, if I am, then so be it. But I don't think that printer is my fault. I think that it's malware. I mean, when they were pushing this malware term, I didn't even know what malware was because I never saw any of this malware when they were pushing the malware term. Malware, the closest thing to what I could think was to malware is when, something went wrong on the computer and it took you ages to try put it right again, and you had to go on to, find some Microsoft page that told you a procedure because something wasn't opening properly or something like that. But it was, you had to pull the reset chip on your computer, to reset the motherboard memory or something like that. But then they managed to get things on your motherboard memory that were, even when you reset it, it was still there or whatever. This is completely different, next level. This is not just your computer breaking and then you having to try and fix a function on it. This is like it interacting and responding. You want it to do something, and when you expected it to be a certain way, it wasn't. It results in a lot of wastage of materials and things like that. You're meant to feel and look stupid. I strongly believe that we're up against these mandark tech geeks, and they actually get a thrill out of it. Like this Andre Vicek guy. Who's added a second? He's added a second Norton account onto me when I never had two. One account protects up to 5 devices. I think I must have trialed it, and then they've put me onto direct debit, even though I've had multiple cards since then. And I don't even think the card that I started off with at the time was a direct debit card. It was just a normal credit card, so I didn't even have direct debit at that time. And then they've banged all these charges on that apparently from 2013. So I've got I've been charged about 2,000 quid or something, which I've called them out on it, and I got partial refund, but I ain't got it all back. And now he's saying, oh, it's policy. They don't say that at B&Q. You can literally take anything back to B&Q. It's when it's like a massive. That's the funny thing about B&Q. You can literally take absolutely anything back, anything, even an open bag of nails, or something like that. That place has got a good return policy, but the prices when you buy the stuff are that expensive that you probably paid for about three bags of nails. So if you take it back, they haven't lost any money anyway, But these online tech people is a different level. So I don't know what I'm going to do with this Andre Vicek guy in this. I think he's called David. Is it Robinson or something like that? The CEO guy of Halifax, Nichols, David Nichols, the CEO of Halifax Bank, right? Because they're saying that, if you're on a direct debit or whatever, whenever I used to buy something, you're never on direct debit, recurring payments. They've only just pretty much introduced that to the Camelot site not that long ago. When I started seeing it appear, you can put yourself on it from there. They've switched it over. I think the whole thing's something to do with the anonymous. Some people just do these to dick around with your life. Whether it's tests or Scientology or winds up or whatever. But whether they're doing it live and dicking with you for fun, or whether they're doing it to everyone and it actually is malware, I can see something with the printer where you're definitely using twice as much ink, and it's doing it quite a lot now. Not every time I go there, but every few, maybe 2 out of 3 times, and I think that it's malware because you're just throwing pages away. Right? Or it's stopping there, like some stress patience test or something. But it's not just that. It's on all the different apps from Google Play and on the platforms, the main platforms. It's just the style and technique of it all. The annoyance, this obsession with ads. Why does the world even need ads? And why is commerce, like I said, it's back to this whole life of point of sale thing. The worst thing about it is that, there's all these people up against the elite, claiming channels that I like Jimmy Dore and, George Galloway and Russell Brand and so forth. But they're all selling all the gear, the merch and the equipment through these websites that are associated with BlackRock Vanguard are making money for them. So it's kind of like we're all in on it. You know, we're in on this thing. It's kind of like, you know, coming to the getting. It's almost like Guns N' Roses get in the ring. You know, get in the ring. You know, getting the corporate ring, getting the commercial ring. Come in. You know, come into the ring. You know, fight us, take us on. You know, buy our mugs, sell our t-shirts, you know, take us on, you know. We're the bad guys, you're the good guys, you know. Use your boxing gloves, that's, you know, £10.50, you know. Matt Kennard and Jeremy Corbyn, you know. Here's your rifle and your target to shoot at. You know, come on down, you know, get the merchandise, you know. And if you do well, if you sell enough mugs, you know, and t-shirts and stickers, then, you know, you might be able to afford yourself some billboard adverts, you know. It's everyone's in. It's all in. Everyone's in on it, and I think that's the plan. You want us all in on it in the commercial, but there's definitely I've had devices my whole life, you know, and nothing has been this bad. We're meant to have made progress, and it's meant to be better now, but it's not. I'm finding that it's not better. You know, these printers, these apps, these computers, I don't think they're better than, you know, when we're in the 90s. It's not better. There's something not right about it. So, you know, I'm going to call them out, these printer companies. They're dicking with the settings and changing. I was printing something out the other day, right, on my new printer, and I put the settings in the field and pressed enter. And when I look, they changed, but I definitely set them, and I pressed the button. And then when it popped back up again to print the next one out, it does it the same every time. It wasn't the same. It changed, and I'm like, that is impossible. It's impossible. It can't be possible. So, you know, we're being dicked with, whether it's certain individuals or what, but some people seem to be very, very, you know, successful at the moment. But even people who are in opposition to this elite establishment, you know, which is annoying and frustrating when, you know, people's channels are doing well. People on your own side supposedly were on your, you know, you're fighting for the same things they're fighting for, or you believe in the same things, and, you know, everything's going all right for them. I've never been that bothered about, you know, being huge or having a massive channel or whatever, but it was all right. And I was happy with that. I had my own little channel, I was doing my own little thing, right? I wasn't doing any harm to anyone, and I was, you know, learning things and making progress, right? Now, if I was just carrying on doing that and talking to other channels that were, you know, doing successful or doing better, I wouldn't have been bothered, right? But the fact that mine got taken down, I got tricked and cheated. You know, YouTube really couldn't give a monkey's. They're really not interested and they don't care, even though you explain it clearly and carefully. I've had my channels taken down. And, you know, things that I'm doing, stuff getting missing in the post, it's actually working against you. And then you don't feel like, you know, people are fighting the cause, and when you've got information or things that can help them, right, you're trying to join in and help, but they're either not listening or they're not. There are things that can help many, many people and lots of people, like sorting YouTube out. Now, it's true Robert F. Kennedy had a go at sorting YouTube out, right? He didn't manage to do it, but I know that he hasn't given up yet, because he's on with, you know, Meta, Facebook and TikTok now. But there are legal, well, laws. There are lots of laws where YouTube are actually clearly breaking the law now, and other platforms, and multiple facts and reasons. And, you know, I can't understand why, you know, people like the Good Law Project and other people aren't, you know, that you would have thought that would be the thing that they would sort out for everyone, right? You know, the main platforms, Facebook and YouTube, right? But they're not. And there's loads and loads of channels getting content removed who are doing political actions and things. I don't know whether the opposition is controlling that and communications or what. You know, if it seems that people aren't responding or interested or what. But, you know, and then, you know, every so often they'll contact you with some weird profile that's like copied or doesn't seem legitimate, or you know, someone replies and just puts weird writing that weirds you out because they're not spelling things properly, but it's definitely not, you know, a mistake. It's just like doing it kind of oddly and weirdly, you know, and it puts you off wanting to talk to other people. There's lots of things going on at the moment now that need sorting out. For God, you know, I hope Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is the answer and solution, and I hope that he does get elected, because the way that it's going at the moment is not good. But what I don't understand is, you know, how some of these other organisations and groups are managing to, you know, how they're not... Well, some of them are getting taken down, you know. I know that... I think Jimmy Dore got removed from TikTok, and then there's that, you know, the guy... There's that lad who's in Russia or whatever who keeps appearing on George Galloway. His Twitter got taken down. You know, you would have thought at least he would want to, you know, do something about, you know, YouTube and the legal case against YouTube and TikTok and so forth. But they don't seem to be listening or interested. But anyway, I don't think that I'm that stupid. I think that there's someone messing with the apps on their phones, you know, and it's wasting inks, papers, all kinds of stuff.